Okay, now we have learned the first criterion on efficiency to evaluate PC firms. Let's move on to the next efficiency criterion, which is allocative efficiency. And then we'll evaluate the PC firms to see whether PC firms are allocative efficient. How do we define allocative efficiency? Well, we look at the way resources are allocated in the society or economy. Allocation of resources must be in a way such that the society produces the combination of goods and services which is most wanted by the society. And how do we know that if allocative efficiency is achieved? Well, we look at whether the price charged in a certain market or industry is equivalent to the marginal cost of production, MC. So we look at one rule of thumb, which is price equals to MC. Okay, why is that so? Let's first look at price. Price reflects consumers' valuation of certain goods or services, or for one unit of this good, how much I'm willing to pay will reflect how much I value that particular unit of goods or service. Right, so that's the valuation part. And the marginal cost of production, MC, reflect the additional costs that the producer has to incur in order to produce this one unit of the good. Okay, so what happens when P equals to MC is not met? Let's assume that we have a case of P larger than MC, right? So this is when the consumer's valuation of the good for one unit of the good is more than what it costs the firm to produce. So it means that it's a signal that there is under allocation of resources in this market and not enough number of this good is being produced to meet consumers' demand. Okay, because when this happens, you observe that the price is actually higher than what it costs the firm to produce, right? P larger than MC. Okay, so this indicates under allocation of resources and it is not allocative efficient. Okay, on the other hand, if you have P smaller than MC, it means that consumers value one unit of the good to be less than what it costs the firm to produce, right? Because they're not willing to pay even the marginal cost of production. They're willing to pay less than that. So what does it signal? It signals that consumers do not value the good as much as what it costs the firm to produce, and therefore too many of the goods are being produced in the market. There is over allocation of resources to the production of this good, and they should reduce the amount of resources being devoted to the production of this good, right? Because there's so many in the market has been flooded. If I can just exaggerate in this way to help you understand, right? The market is flooded with this good, and therefore the equilibrium price in the market is very low, right? Because of oversupply, right? And if you want to bring it back to allocative efficiency, you should reduce the resources devoted to the production of this good, okay? Such that until P equals to MC is attained, right? That's why we say that P equals to MC will be an allocative efficient condition, right? Because when P equals to MC is achieved, you have a particular resource allocation whereby just enough or ideal amount of goods and services are produced in the society. There is neither overproduction or underproduction of goods and services in this society. Okay, so let's look at whether PC firms are desirable based on these conditions. We know that P has to be equal to MC. Okay, so on the left hand side, this diagram illustrates the market demand and supply of the PC industry. And the market equilibrium price is P and market equilibrium output is Q. And the firms in the PC industry will take this price as given and charge the same price. So individual firms will also charge a price of P, which is also the demand and average revenue and marginal revenue of the firm. And given the MIMC, the firm will produce at Q to maximize its output, right? And at this output level Q, what is the firm's MC? Well, you go all the way up from Q until it touches the MC curve, and the corresponding MC, the marginal cost level, is also P. Okay, so we can safely say that at an output of Q, which is profit maximizing, PC firms are charging a price which is equivalent to the marginal cost of production. Okay, therefore, um, there is allocative efficiency in the perfect competition market. Okay, if you go back to the market demand and supply diagram, you will see that this output Q, or at the equilibrium output of the market. Okay, let's not confuse these two Qs. There are two output in the screen on the screen. Okay, on the right hand side, it indicates the individual firm's output. Okay, on the left hand side, it indicates the equilibrium output of the market, which is the total output of all individual PC firms. Okay, so they are not the same Q, right? So this Q would be the summation of all individual PC firms' output level. And as a society, if you look at all the PC firms, the output Q would be maximizing the society's welfare because the consumer surplus and the producer surplus will be maximized. Okay, but essentially, okay, going back to the individual PC firms, these firms are desirable in terms of productive efficiency because they are charging a price which is equivalent to the marginal cost of production. Okay, marginal cost of production.